Self-discipline is the only means of transmuting sorrow into faith. It is the only means by which we may make the man of action out of the dreamer. Napoleon Hill. You don't build an empire by accident. You build it by blood, by silence, by the thousands of invisible decisions no one will ever applaud. Discipline is not the loudest man in the room. It's the one who doesn't flinch when no one is watching. It's the man who wakes up at 4 a.m. when there is no applause, no comfort, no crowd, and chooses to keep going. Discipline is the grind that forges legends. It's the heartbeat of the dreamer who refused to die ordinary. The world will sell you motivation, hype, dopamine, overnight tricks. But discipline? That's a currency only the serious carry, because discipline is the enemy of ease. It is the death of excuse, and Napoleon Hill knew it. He watched men rise with genius and fall from comfort. He watched others, less gifted, less intelligent, less connected, rise to the heights of power, simply because they chose discipline over indulgence. You want to know what separates the average man from the exceptional one? It's not intelligence. It's not talent. It's not even luck. It is the quiet war of self. It is the refusal to be ruled by impulse. It is the fire that burns when there is no light left. And that fire is discipline. Look through history. Thomas Edison, working 21 hours a day. Carnegie, obsessed with structure. Ford, repeating and refining until perfection wasn't optional, it was law. These weren't just men with dreams. They were men possessed. They were governed by an unbreakable code. No matter how they felt, no matter the odds, they executed. Discipline is the hammer that builds the skyscraper, the chisel that carves greatness from stone. It is the single mother who works 3 jobs but still reads at night. It is the athlete who trains in the cold, while others sleep. It is the creator who releases without praise. Discipline does not wait for permission. It does not require inspiration. It does not beg for attention. Discipline moves because it must. It endures because it decides to. Every great monument was born in moments of monotony. Every fortune began with a man saying no to comfort 1,000 times. Discipline is doing it anyway, when you're tired, when you're broken, when you're uncertain, because this world will not give you what you want. It will give you what you demand from yourself. And the demand is never voiced through words. It is shouted through action, repetition, ruthlessness. Ask any great man, and he will tell you. The hardest part was never starting. It was showing up after the world had given him every excuse to stop. Discipline is not sexy. It is not glamorous. It is lonely. It is brutal. But it is the only road, because empires do not bend to comfort. They are built by those who master themselves. And mastery, my friend, begins the moment you stop negotiating with weakness. You do not need more motivation. You need a vow, a sacred promise to yourself that nothing, not failure, not fear, not fatigue, will be stronger than your will. Discipline is not about pain. It is about power. The kind of power that bends reality, the kind of power that cannot be bought, only earned. And if you want to build something that outlives you, you better start today, not tomorrow. Not when it's easy, not when you feel like it now, because every moment you delay, every time you say later, is another brick you didn't lay, and someone else will. They will build the empire you dreamed of. They will live the life you imagined, not because they were better, but because they chose the discipline you refused. You think greatness comes from talent. No, it comes from traction, from one step, 1 hour, one choice, made 1,000 times without applause. Discipline is divine repetition. It is the sacred pattern of men who rise above excuses and become the architects of destiny. You don't need more chances. You need fewer distractions, fewer compromises. The man who builds an empire isn't looking for balance. He's looking for victory. Balance is for those who fear intensity. Victory belongs to those who embrace it. So what will you do when the world isn't watching? When the lights are off and no one cares, will you still move, still build, still create? Because the secret isn't in doing it once. It's in doing it until the world has no choice but to kneel. That is discipline, and that is how empires are born.